Hi, this is video number 14 in a series of videos where we're building an FPS game in Unity 2017 for Android mobile devices. In the previous video we set up our player gun and we're using a raycast which we are shooting from the center of our camera or our screen, and when it hits an object which is on the can shoot layer, it instantiates or creates some particles at the hit point. The cube is on the can shoot layer and the sphere isn't. Okay, so we can't shoot the sphere, but we can shoot the cube. Okay, good. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to add an enemy health script to this cube, which means that we need to shoot this cube 10 times and then it will destroy itself. Okay, and we're going to do a couple of little additional features to enhance that. Okay, good. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to create a new C script. So that's a C script here at the top. Okay, and I've called mine enemy health, and let's have a look at this. Okay, if you need a screenshot. Good. Okay, so here at the top I have health max, which is 10, which means whatever this script is attached to, it has a health of 10. And here I have an integer called health, which will be reduced, is a value which will be reduced every time it receives damage, and it'll be reduced by the value of damage. Okay. Here is a bool, which is just true or false statement. Okay, so here and here I've got public game object, which is my particles, which I'm going to display when it's destroyed. Okay, when it's dead. In awake, I've said that health, this counter, is equal to the health max, which is 10. Okay, here is a public function. It's called shot damage, and it's going to receive an integer value of damage. The player guns that we've set up, they have this gun has a value damage of 1. So when the gun hits the cube, it will access this script, pass through a damage of 1, okay, and process it here. I'll come to that in a second. So here, first thing it says is, okay, just check first to see, okay, we've received some more damage, but let's just see if this cube is dead or not. If it is already dead, if is dead is true, then just return, which means just ignore everything else down here and just continue. Okay. But if it's not dead, okay, if is dead is still false, then we are going to reduce this health by the value damage that we receive from the gun script. Okay, and then we're going to check to see if health is less than or equal to 0. If it is, then we're going to run this function called dead, because it obviously has no health left. Okay, and in dead we're going to say, first thing is we're going to set the bool is dead is to true. Okay, and that's used up here, because if it's true then just return, just don't try and keep deducting health, there's no point. Okay, then we're going to play a couple of sounds. Sorry, we're going to play a sound. First thing we're going to do is in our sound manager, which we created in a previous video. Okay, I set it up in a way, whereas what I like to do, I mean, you can do this any way you wish, but the way I like to do it is I like to turn off, if there's already a sound playing and I want to play another one of that same sound, then what I do is I turn off the old sound, so to speak, and then play the new sound in its place. That means that I've only ever got one explosion sound playing at any one time. If I had lots of explosion sounds playing it all at the same time, it could start to sound a little bit mushy. Alright, so again, that's my preference. You can set that up however you wish. Down here now I've got instantiate, so when it's dead, when the health is less than or equal to 0, I'm going to instantiate some particles at the position of where the transform is, wherever this script is, at this rotation. Okay, and then I'm going to destroy the game object, which is the cube. Alright, so there's quite a lot going on in there. So, but the next thing we need to do is, in order to make that work, we need to send it across to some damage value. Okay, so our gun needs to tell this script, our gun script needs to tell this script to send across some damage. So let's have a look at our player gun script. Okay, as you know, in the enemy health, it's expecting to receive a value which is an integer called damage. Okay, so at the top here, I've added an integer called damage and set its value to 1. Okay, if you're not familiar with this script here, we created this in the video 13, so please watch that and then you'll know what's happening here. So in this video we're enhancing that script. So I've created an integer called damage which is equal to 1. Okay, now if it was, I could set up a system here where depending on which gun this script was attached to, the damage would be different. Okay, so here's could be 1, 10, 50, 20, 100, 1,000, it's up to you, but in this example I'm just keeping it simple, keep it to a damage value of 1. Okay, if we come down to our shoot scripts, right, what we're already doing, yeah, is here again with the sound, we're turning off any existing gun player sounds, and then we're going to play a fresh one on top of that. Okay, and I'm sending out vector 3 from the center of the screen, okay, out into the game, and if that raycast or that ray hits anything that's within the range of it, which has got a range of this gun's got a range of 200, and it's on a layer called the can shoot layer, which we know the cube is, but the sphere isn't. Okay, then instantiate or create some particles wherever it hit at this rotation. Okay, so that's what we currently have. But what we need to do is we need to get this to send, because we know we've hit something, right, and we know that it's on the can shoot layer, but we need to access the enemy health script on it if one exists and do something. Alright, send us some damage over there. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So I'm going to undouble this line here. Here I have enemy health, okay, which is the name of that script, is equal to get hit collider dot get component enemy health. So we're going to get the enemy health, right? I'm going to check to see if enemy health script is attached to the thing we've just hit. So if the enemy health, if this enemy health is not null, it means if this enemy health script exists on the thing that we've hit, yeah, which is within range and on this can shoot layer, yeah, if that's not null, if that exists, then access that script and access the function in it and send across some damage. Okay, and the damage here is a value of 1. Okay, so we're going to send across to this value of 1, and that's going to show up over here in this damage here. Okay, here, and then it's then going to be deducted, okay, here, and then we just move on through that process. Okay, so that's how the two link together. What I'm also going to do is while we're at this stage, is I'm going to say, okay, if as well as that, if there's a rigid body attached to this cube, right, then let's add some force to it. Okay, and kind of gives like, it's like impact force. All right, so like you've just shot this thing, and there's like a force which is like an impact force which kind of pushes it back. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do that. All right, so I'm going to send the damage value over there, and I'm also going to add some force to it. Okay, so we can visually see that cube move every time we hit it. All right, good, and it needs here a value of hit force. Okay, and I've got that up here. So there's a float. You need to create a float at the top. Hit force is 200. 200 seems to be okay for this demonstration. Okay, so here here if there's a rigid body attached to whatever we've hit that meets these conditions, then add some force. Alright, good. So let's save that lot. Okay. Right, just waiting for that to update. Good. So here we have a cube, and we're going to attach our enemy health script to it. Okay, right. Have a quick check of our gun. Okay, the gun's fine. We've updated that script. We've got a cube here. We've got some. Now it's asking for some particles. Okay, so we need to create some particles. I've got here particle enemy death, which I created earlier. Did that by going create effects particle system. Okay, and because we're building for mobile, we want to kind of set this up slightly differently. Okay, so what I've done here is I've come down here and I've kept these numbers quite small. Max particles I've put at 1. I think it's like 1,000 default. And because I'm only using one here, I've made the scale of these particle bigger, so it's 20. Alright, instead of the default 1. Okay. And last thing I've done here is down the renderer. I've used mobile friendly shader, okay, which is mobile particles additive. Mobile particles additive. Okay, you can choose whichever one you want. So there I have some. I made some particles, and I made a prefab of them. And here, quite simply, just drag them in. Okay, good. Something else just to remember is that, excuse me, is that we're also adding some force to this cube when we hit it. So we're going to do that. To get that to work, we're going to need to add rigid body. Okay, so just put a normal rigid body, standard settings onto that. So our cube's ready to go. So all we've done, added an enemy health script, made some particles, put them in there, made them kind of mobile friendly, and then we've added a rigid body. Okay. And our gun, we've updated our script, so it should send some values across. So, as always, make sure that all your scripts are saved, okay, so that you know things are going to be working. And we'll press play. Right, okay, so let's take one thing at a time here. So wherever we hit it, we're displaying some particles as before, so that still works. Now when we hit it, it's adding a false, which is pushing it back. That's correct. And because we hit it 10 times, it destroyed itself, made a sound from the sound manager, and displayed that particle that we just made. Okay, so let's just demonstrate that again for you. So everything's working nicely. So let's just go. Okay, brilliant. Okay, last thing you need to do is, as always, you need to make sure these things work properly, and you need to test it on multiple objects. Alright, so I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. Okay, here. And there's one over there. There's one over there. Okay. Alright, just to show that it does work on multiple game objects. Alright, now you need to make sure here that they're all on the can shoot layer. Okay, because if they're not, it won't work. And we'll just hit play. Okay, right, so we've got one, destroyed one, 2, last one, good. Right, it's all working great. Okay, thanks very much, thanks for watching. Yeah, in the next video we're going to keep a track of how many of these cubes we're destroying, so that we can use them to set up the gameplay. Okay, good. Hope you learned something. Please subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.